The Los Angeles Chargers went 11-6 this past season, and their season ended in the playoffs with a pretty embarrassing defeat again in the playoffs, which again brought up questions about whether or not Justin Herbert is truly one of those top elite quarterbacks in the league. Our goal here is to prove all those doubters wrong and say that yes, he is one of those top quarterbacks. Yes, he can win playoff games, and yes, he can eventually win a Super Bowl. But we're going to have to do some work here with this roster. I think there's some key pieces here that are aging. One of the benefits of this rebuild is we don't have to worry about any injuries, so offensive line should stay healthy for Justin Herbert. He was playing at a very good level a lot of the season, then his offensive line got decimated, then he was all banged up by the end of the season. So I think that maybe played into part of maybe why his play maybe wasn't as good down the stretch in the playoffs. But either way, the tape is the tape and what you put out there, and that is what he put out there. But we're going to try to put together a Super Bowl winning team here for the Chargers in this rebuild. If you've been enjoying the rebuild, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for more rebuilds. We are well on our way to rebuilding all 32 teams. First Madden where I've actually done rebuilds and stuck with it. So we're on our way to getting all 32. So hit the like button for that, hit the subscribe button for that. Let's get into this rebuild. Let's go take a look at this roster. All right, so here is the Chargers roster here. Still got Trey Lance. Justin Herbert, though, 89 overall. Still has room to grow. It's weird to say he's getting older now, but that is kind of the truth. So I'm sure his development will slow down a little bit. Keenan Allen is here, 33 years old. Still, I think there's room for this team to go out and I think find more receiving talent. At least that's what I feel. We got Gadsden here, tight end out of Syracuse. So 75 overall, he's pretty good, at least in Madden. But then you have Rashawn Slater, Joe Alt, both at those tackle positions. Still, again, some of these guys just couldn't stay healthy, and that is just kind of brutal. I mean, just kind of bad luck. That's part of being good in the NFL, is just getting that injury luck. They didn't have that this past year. But then we have Amarion Hampton, young running back here. So this team, I think, is set up pretty good right now, at least in Madden, for us to potentially do a very good job of, I think, trying to get to be a team that could win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. Granted, defense, I think, is where we really are going to have to focus our time on, I think. These guys are older. Khalil Mack, he always sticks around in Madden, I feel, but 34 years old, he's had an amazing career. The fact that he still plays at the level he plays at his age, just the longevity he's been able to show is really good. Gonna have to really focus on this defensive line, I think. And we're going to have to focus on getting, I think, maybe this corner room a little bit better as well. But let's get into the offseason, and yeah, let's get this rebuild started. So we do got some retirements to deal with. Khalil Mack does retire. I do wonder if that's just because we're using him, or using the Chargers, so they're just going to have Khalil Mack retire because we're using the Chargers. But again, more from that, Khalil Mack does not retire after the first year of most Madden franchises or most rebuilds. I mean, we always see him in free agency in these rebuilds, but this time they throw us a little bit of a curveball here, and he does retire. So edge will be a need for us for sure. All right, so we have some re-signings to do. Because we lost Khalil Mack, we are going to bring back Odafe Owe, actually, just to have an edge player. Oh, he's going to test free agency. Well, we tried bringing him back, but he doesn't want to stick around. We are going to bring back Zion Johnson for sure. We're going to bring him back 4 years, so I don't have to really think much about that guard position. And he is willing to stick around for that. So we look around here, Najee Harris. Quentin Johnston, we are going to accept that option, actually. Keep him around. Kamani Vidal, he's pretty good actually, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to keep him around. Keenan Allen, we're not going to bring back. Tear Tart, I would like to bring back just to keep some defensive tackle depth. All right, so the rest of these players, we are probably just going to let walk, honestly. Benjamin St. Juice, we're probably going to let walk, right? No, maybe we'll bring him back. I mean, it's a relatively cheap deal, and he is happy to sign that deal, so we'll bring him back. I think everyone else here, though, we are going to let walk. I know someone is going to be like, hey, you know, in real life, they're, you know, doing so. This isn't real life. This is a video game, so not going to do that. Tony Jefferson also not going to bring back. He is 34. He is old. Go start a family. All right, so we come in here to free agency. Now, again, someone will point out, hey, in real life, Jalen Phillips, he didn't sign with the Chargers. I know that, but we have plenty of money, so we're going to go after him. We need edge help, and we're going to go out there and try to get it right there, and we'll try with that. So we'll look around here. What else we want? John Franklin Myers is a free agent. We do need some additional defensive tackle help, and we'll try to have him around for at least 2 years. I think that is a decent bit of money to spend. Now we come back to receiver. We could go out here and now Alec Pierce, I would like to do this, but I feel like we should maybe see if we can get someone in the draft. I think that might be something that might be better for us to do. We're gonna take a look around here at linebacker. We do need some help at linebacker, I think, and Nakobe Dean is pretty cheap, so we'll bring him in, and we'll look around here. What else we want? Ivan Pace Jr. We're fine. We have Henley right there, so we don't need to do that. Corner, good at corner. We don't need to bring in anyone else at corner. Free safety, we're fine there. We're fine at safety, so I think that's what we're gonna keep. That's what we're gonna do at for free agency. I think these players, actually, we could just bring in Mike Evans for 1 year. I have no clue if he's interested. He's not interested, so we're gonna withdraw that offer. But we're going to do this. This is our free agency haul. I think that's maybe the best we could do. Again, we could go after one of those receivers, but I would rather do that in the draft, I think is what I would like to do. And free agency, we get the 3 players we want. We get some additional defensive tackle help. We get a linebacker, and we get a pretty decent younger edge rusher on the team as well, and Jalen Phillips. So I think that's going to do it for free agency for us. All right, so we are here in the draft. I'm going to pause it, of course. Let's see what the Raiders do here. This should be Fernando Mendoza, but this time they actually go Arvell Reese. Very interesting there. This is like after the most recent update, so I don't know if they did something to like draft logic or something like that. I don't know. But again, you see that none of the receivers have gone yet. All the receivers are still here. It's part of the reason why I didn't go out and sign a receiver, because I figured there would still be one here on the board for us. And I think we are going to go with our receiver that we like a lot. We've done Mekhi Lemon. We have yet to do Jordan Tyson. And you know what? This time, we're going to go with Jordan Tyson. I have no clue in real life if Jordan Tyson will actually fall. I feel like I am starting to see him fall a little bit in mock drafts. Coming into the pre-draft process, it seemed like he was the #1 receiver, and now as we've gone through the process, he has kind of slipped a little bit because of the injury history, which again, we don't have to worry about here because in this rebuild, we don't have injuries on. So it's not something we have to worry about, but Jordan Tyson looks very good here in the game, and we are going to get Justin Herbert a new weapon right there. And Dylan Thieneman actually ends up going. I was going to consider trading back into the first round to try to get him, but that's not going to happen. So we're going to simulate to our next pick. We're going to make our second pick here. And there's still some receivers on the board. Chris Bell is right here, actually. That's kind of a player I would like to get. Take a look here at our favorites, though. We'll see, are any of those guys still there? No, there's not. So, actually, I think we will double up on receiver here. And this time, I think we're going to go with... I thought we were going to go with... Okay, so Omar Cooper Jr. we could take. There are receivers that are going to be not around. We did re-sign some guys, but it was like a one-year deal. I think we're going to double up on a receiver. We're going to take Omar Cooper Jr. here as well. I think he's very good and showed a really good ability to kind of make some great catches at times at Indiana. So that's who we're going to get. And mostly because all the defensive tackles I wanted are gone. And none of them are there. So that's just kind of what it is. So we're looking around here. We could go with another edge rusher just to have. And I think we are going... I guess we'll go with Zane Durant. We'll see if we can develop him. He looks really good from an athletic standpoint. Usually haven't had much luck developing these created draft class defensive tackles. For whatever reason, I just feel like they just kind of don't develop that well. I'm not sure if it's because they don't have the high enough play rec like the Madden generated guys do. I think that could be part of it, but you know, you just never know, honestly. So we're here, 4th round, still looking around here. What do we want to do? And you know, honestly, I'm not sure at this point what we want to do. Still just a lot of, you know, on the board. I think we will try. Nope, this guy looks terrible. So that's not going to happen. Any weak inside linebackers still on the board? Not really. There's still some of these guys on the board, but it's probably a little too early to take them. So maybe there's some safeties. There's not any safeties, actually. And that are really good. So Isaiah Wacobia, he has F zone coverage. Okay. I've never seen that. He must be really bad. I'm now interested in taking him just to see how bad he actually is. I suppose we could look for a backup tight end, and I think we will look for a backup tight end because we did let some of our tight ends walk, and I think it's going to be one of this guy. Definitely not him. So Sam Roush out of Stanford. I think it's going to be the pick here for us. Well, it is going to be the pick here for us. And 199 true value. And we drafted him at 118. So a little bit of a reach. And we're just going to let the CPU do the rest of the draft here, because I'm interested to see what they draft for me. I like kind of see what they get. Okay, draft recap here. Jordan Tyson, 77 overall right there. Do like to see that. Take a look here at all of his ratings. And again, the route running is very good. Maybe deeper route running needs to get a little bit better. But apart from that, looks very good. Release definitely needs some work. Catching, I think in general, definitely needs some work at a 76. But either way, I think that's a really good pick. That's a future-proofing pick for this team. Omar Cooper Jr. Might not play much his rookie year, but I think could be a guy that could contribute a lot, at the very least, in his second year for us. And again, controllable player, cheap player for multiple years. I think that's pretty good. Zane Durant, 69 overall. Play rec is a 70. Block shedding is a 72. I'll be interested to see if we can actually finally develop one of these defensive tackles. I just feel like with the draft class ones, like it's just really hard to develop them. And then the CPU took Julian Neal out of Arkansas. Coverage skills, not the best, just decent enough, but again, probably won't play much for us. And then they took a safety, Jordan Pollard, who I don't know what he does exactly. He looks kind of awful at everything. So that was the draft class. I'll see you once I am done with training camp. All right, we went through training camp and we have a ton of upgrade points to spend here. And Jordan Tyson is going to get a lot of those with 8 skill points here that we have to spend on him. And probably the biggest one shot of skill points you will ever get for a lot of these players is when you go through and do these training camp drills along with that camp counselor. You end up getting a lot of points. So making some big gains with here. He'll probably flip-flop in between being a scheme fit and not a scheme fit. I've talked about this before. I feel like these archetypes with receivers are a little too close together, but I'm not sure how they would actually like separate them out. I don't really know how that would be done to make them feel more unique to each other, but either way, he will start the season at an 86 overall. So that is very nice. He is a star dev. Try getting his dev trait up. We'll keep trying to do that. Zane Durant has a ton of upgrades, actually. And that is good. You know, again, I've said before, it's been tough to actually develop a lot of these defensive tackles at times. But, you know, we'll try it with Zane Durant. Gets 2 block shedding. And look, these upgrades are pretty good for him, honestly. He is going to be up to a 73 after this one. Plus 2 block shedding, plus 1 play rec. You do like to see that. And we're going to come back with another one here. And more block shedding, finesse moves. I'm not sure why we're getting so much finesse moves in Power Rusher. That's very annoying. I want Power Rush stuff, but another play rec right there. And will be a 76 overall to start the season, so that is very good right there, actually. More finesse moves, even though we were focusing on power moves, but plus 1 play rec as well. So 75 play rec, 79 block shedding, power moves up to an 84. So all in all, pretty good. Not sure what he'll do this season, honestly, but you know, hey, I do like seeing that. So Julian Neal, that corner that the CPU took for us, I didn't take him. Decent overall here, and I think we're going to spend 2 points on zone, and then we're going to come back and spend 2 more on man coverage to kind of just even him out a little bit, and then we'll probably spend the last one on zone again, and he'll be up to a 75 overall. So pretty good upgrades right here. Plus 3 play rec. That is very nice, actually. So he looks decent here, actually. So maybe we have a player right there. More upgrades here. It's going to be Amarian Hampton, who is going to be our lead feature back this season. Did not bring back any of the other running backs that were on the roster. So I probably have to go sign some guys. So I'll have to go do that. But Hampton is going to be an 84 overall. Not too bad. Then we come back here. Zion Johnson has some upgrades as well. And we're just focus on power for him. And plus 2 lead block. Again, looking for awareness upgrades with linemen, because that really is one of the more important attributes for them. And we did not get any. We get 1 awareness here out of all of those upgrades for him. So there's that. Justin Herbert with some upgrades as well. Thankfully, we are past the quarterback regression bug. So he's going to get up to a 91. We probably still have a decent bit until Herbert starts to regress. I'm not sure if he will in this franchise or not, but it is always possible, I suppose. And then the Kobe Dean going to get a pass coverage upgrade here, and plus 2 man coverage and play rec tackle and zone coverage. And the rest of these upgrades we will just let the CPU handle, and we'll be on to year number 1 of this rebuild. All right, so here is the team for year number 1. Jordan Tyson going to start the season. 87 overall is our top receiver. So receiving core looks really good, adding in Tyson and Omar Cooper Jr. Offensive line looks really good. We'll stay healthy again because we don't have injuries, so there is that. Edge room looks pretty good. We're going to be edging a lot here with Jalen Phillips and Tua Pelotu. Linebacking core looks pretty good. Defensive tackle room actually doesn't look that bad. Actually, bring in John Franklin Myers, Zane Durant has developed pretty nicely. Corner room, I think probably leaves a little bit to be desired. We don't have like that truly elite #1 corner, but it's decent enough, you hope. So I don't know. I'll see you at the midseason mark. I'll see how we're doing here through the first couple weeks of this season. All right, we're at the midpoint of year #1. We are 2-4, so a little bit of a challenging rebuild, but doesn't seem like the rest of the AFC West is all that good either. So it's not that dire for us, I would say. I mean, you don't like being 2-4 at this point in the season, but Justin Herbert, 12 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Marion Hampton playing well-ish, 6 touchdowns on the year for him. Jordan Tyson playing well, 8 touchdowns, 468 yards, 3 touchdowns for Quentin Johnston. Ladd McConkey with a touchdown. And that's about it. Nothing for a tight end or anything like that. And then defensively, how are we doing? Well, I don't want to see that just yet, but 4.5 sacks for Jalen Phillips. John Franklin Myers with 2.5, Tua Pelotu with 2. And a bunch of half sacks for a lot of other guys. Junior Colson with 1.5 as well. N'Kobe Dean with 2 interceptions. Henley with an interception. St. Juice with 1. And Pollard with 1 as well. So, not sure why we're not playing that well. The only thing I can think of is potentially playbook. And we are going to make a change to the playbook, actually. And that change is not going to be this. We are going to change our playbook to... Let's see if we can find... I probably went the wrong way, but we're going to go with the Rams playbook. See how that works out for us. See if we can get something a little bit better with the results. Because Herbert only having like 12 I don't know. I feel like he should have more touchdowns with the weapons we have. He should be putting up better numbers than what he is. So I'll see you for the playoffs if we make them. All right, so we did make the playoffs at 9-8, and that was actually good enough to win the AFC West. Just a down year for the division. Take a look here at the stats here. Herbert, I think the playbook change did help. 39 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. I think we'll just keep rocking Rams playbook here. Good season for Marion Hampton, 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. So we had a very good season. And then Jordan Tyson, 1,600 yards, 24 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey, 1,000 yards. Quentin Johnston, 828 yards. Arondé Gadsden with almost 600 yards and a singular touchdown. You do like to see that. And then defensively, 10.5 sacks for Jalen Phillips, 7.5 for Tua Pelotu. John Franklin Myers with 5.5. Zane Durant with 4. So he played pretty well for us. I actually do like seeing that with Zane Durant. Wasn't expecting that, but he has progressed pretty nicely so far this first season. So that is good to see. Multiple players with 3 interceptions on the year. Then you got 2 here for Henley, 1 for the rest of the guys as well. So that is good. We do have some upgrades, though, that we're going to have to get to first here before we get into this playoff game versus the Jets, who have Fernando Mendoza. But Jordan Tyson with 4 upgrades right here, and we are simply going to go with Playmaker. I'm stubbornly going to try to see if we can get him to be a scheme fit for Playmaker. It feels like we have not been able to do that at all in any of these rebuilds. And I don't know if it's going to happen now. But either way, he has progressed very nicely his rookie season and is up to a 92 overall. Plus 3 morale makes it 95. But 92 overall here. And yeah, he looks like a really just complete player already. And doesn't have to worry about injuries because it's Madden and we can turn those off. Another guy that we're going to take a look here is Omar Cooper Jr. Probably didn't do much his rookie year, but I still think he will potentially be an important piece of this team at some point in the future. Not sure when, but I think it will happen. So do like to see his development going well. Marion Hampton, we are going to come in here and just go power back for him. And +4 stiff arm. That's a great upgrade. That probably doesn't help in the sim at all. +2 awareness, that'll help. What we need is awareness and ball carrier vision. Those are things that really help. And we get +1 ball carrier vision. So he's an 88 overall. So we have a lot of young players, controllable players who are very good. So we do like to see that. And then Tuli Tuipulotu, we're going to try to keep going with Speed Rusher for him whenever we do get upgrades for him. He does have Superstar Dev. Not sure why, but he does have it. Play Rec gets an upgrade right there. So 87 Play Rec. So that's a pretty good rating for him right there. And then Lad McConkey, we'll give him some upgrades as well. And we'll go with Slot here up to an 85 overall. And then one more, and he will be an 86 overall. Pretty decent amount of upgrades right there. +4 carrying, +4 release, spec catch +3. Catching traffic is a +2, so that was a pretty good upgrade right there. And we'll let the CPU do the rest of those. So, taking on the Jets here, they do have Fernando Mendoza, so we'll go in here and see how we do versus the Jets, see if we can beat them. Can Herbert get a playoff victory, or does he come up short again to a younger quarterback? Okay, so we are here, AFC wildcard round. And we are holding on to this lead, and we do win this game 28-20. Justin Herbert finally gets a playoff victory, gets that monkey off his back. Fernando Mendoza and the Jets come up short here in the wild card round. And Herbert had a pretty good game here, 20 for 26, 267 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. Hampton, again, they just don't do much in the sim when it comes to running. But yeah, a lot of different targets for a lot of different players in this one, but a touchdown for Johnson, 2 for Tyson, and 1 for Gadsden as well. So really nice stuff right there. And then 3 interceptions for Dante Jackson, Elijah Molden, and Junior Colson. And then a sack for Phillips, a sack for Franklin Myers, and a sack for Tuli Tuipulotu as we beat the Jets in the wild card round. On to the divisional we go. All right, for the divisional round, we are taking on the Baltimore Ravens. They are 14-3. I'm going to assume that they are the 1 seed here, and they are. So, top seed in the AFC here. We're probably not expected to beat them sitting here at 9-8, but you never know what happens once you get into the playoffs and once you actually got to play the game. So, let's find out. All right, AFC divisional round here. We are in this game. We are leading the Ravens, actually 17-7 with the Ravens. They're not going to go away quietly. Still the 4th quarter here. Let's see if we can get them off the field. Tie ball game, and we have an opportunity here to go on to the field and try to win this game, but I'm going to see if we can let it ride out here. Ravens get the ball back and end a game drive again. We have an opportunity here, but I'm just going to let the CPU do it, and we do it. We are moving on to the AFC Championship game. 20-17, we knock off the Ravens. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens come up short yet again in the playoffs. Top seed, home field advantage. They lose to a 9-8 football team. And let's take a look here at the stats here for Herbert. An interception there for Lamar Jackson, but Herbert, not a great game. 15-32, 120 yards, 1 touchdown. But sometimes that's what playoff football is, right? Sometimes it's just kind of ugly and nasty, and it's just about surviving. And that's what we did in this one. Jordan Tyson with the lone receiving touchdown for us. So he has been great. And defensively, looks like we got after Lamar. 2 sacks for Jalen Phillips. 2 sacks for Tuli Tuipulotu. 2 sacks for Tuli. I'm tired of trying to say his name. And a sack for Nakobe Dean. A sack for Zane Durant. And Dante Jackson with an interception. Let's go see who we're going to be playing in the AFC Championship game. All right, AFC Championship game. We're taking on the Jaguars. This is the first time we have been completely better than a team, at least overall-wise, of this playoff run. We beat the Jets 28-20. We beat the Ravens 20-17. Let's see if we can beat the Jaguars and go to the Super Bowl here in year number 1 of this rebuild. All right, AFC Championship game here, taking on the Jaguars, and we are up 21-3 right now. So we are looking pretty good here, but the Jaguars, they're not going to go away silently. They're going to try to fight back a little bit here, and we do punch it in for one more touchdown, and they're going to go for it, cut it to an 8-point game. A field goal here does make it a little bit difficult, but it's not completely impossible. But we do have the ball back here in the red zone. At the very least, we should be able to get a field goal out of this, and we do, and we are moving on to the Super Bowl. 34-20. What a playoff run we have had. Came into this thing 9-8, and just a completely improbable run here for this Chargers team. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of a playoff run where you really can't say anything about Justin Herbert if he had a playoff run like this in real life. Not Madden, in real life, where there wouldn't be much anyone would say afterwards. But 31 for 37, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. And Amarian Hampton, Justin Herbert also with a rushing touchdown in this one as well. Jordan Tyson a touchdown. Quentin Johnston a touchdown. Aron Gadsden with a touchdown. Ladd McConkey had a very good game. 8 receptions, 100 yards. So we were able to really go after this team. But then Zane Durant, a bit of a coming out party here for the rookie. 3 sacks in this one, and then 2 from Jalen Phillips. He has been a monster this playoff run. And then Nakobe Dean with an interception. Let's go see who we're playing in the Super Bowl. So, Super Bowl week here, we have some upgrades here for Jordan Tyson. Still trying to get him to be a scheme fit, even though, I mean, it doesn't matter, but I just want to see if it's even possible with how on top a lot of these archetypes are. 2 more upgrade points right there for Tyson, and not going to be a scheme fit here, but he is going to be a 95 overall. Also goes up to Superstar Dev. 1 offensive rookie of the year, 1 offensive player of the year, 1 wide receiver of the year. So big year from him, and he is now a Superstar Dev player. So that's really nice. Who are we playing in the Super Bowl? You're probably wondering. Well, it's going to be the Green Bay Packers here, 9-8, taking on the 11-6 Packers. Let's go see if we can win the Super Bowl here in year number 1 of this rebuild. All right, Super Bowl here. We are up 21-7, up 28-7 now. Packers are going to have to stage a pretty big comeback here. And 28-7 here. I think at the very least we're going to get a field goal out of this drive. And we actually punch it in 35-7. They're going to go for it. We're going to come on the field here, try to shut this thing down, and get out of here with a Super Bowl victory. But Jordan Love throws this one, and that is going to be caught by Jaden Reed right there. And doesn't matter, though, because we are going to win the Super Bowl here. We beat the Packers 35-14. We get it done in year number 1. And, yeah, I didn't think we were going to be able to get it done in year number 1, just because at the midseason mark we were, what, 2-4? Did make the playoffs, but made it at 9-8. So, did not expect that, but Justin Herbert gets the monkey all the way off his back, wins the Super Bowl, potentially Super Bowl MVP. Former Packer Charles Woodson has to deliver the trophy. They should definitely add in some more players for this celebration animation, just so it's not just Charles Woodson all the time. But let's go take a look here at the stats of how Herbert did, and let's get ready for year number 2 of this rebuild. So, Herbert did have 1 interception in this game, but 3 touchdowns, 309 yards. Hampton, also he had a rushing touchdown. Ismail Mahadi also had a rushing touchdown. Receiving-wise, 2 for Aronde Gadsden, an touchdown for Ladd McConkey, but still got the ball around to a lot of different options in this game as well, so you do like to see that. And then defensively, again, Zane Durant with 2 sacks here. Thule with a sack. John Franklin Myers with a sack. No sack for Jalen Phillips, so kind of a quiet Super Bowl from him. But either way, we win the Super Bowl. Now let's go to the offseason and try to see if we can keep this roster together, maybe make some additions to it, and try to go for 2 in a row. So I was expecting this. Bradley Bozeman's going to call it a career, so we're going to have to find a center. That's either going to be in free agency or through the draft. I'm not sure what we're going to do just yet, though, about that. But Bradley Bozeman calls it a career after winning the Super Bowl. So we have a ton of money. Well, not a ton of money, but we have a decent amount of money in salary cap. And we can decide what we want to do here. Derwin James, that could be an option. Dante Jackson. Mekhi Becton we are going to bring back. Because it seems like we kind of have to. Don't want to go around having to find guards. Tier Tart we're going to let walk. And then everyone else I think we can kind of let walk here. J.K. Scott. We'll try to keep a punter around. I feel like punters are so finicky. But this time he does stick around. So there's that. Derwin James, we're in a Super Bowl window. We'll bring him back. And he does come back. And we're going to leave it at that in terms of our re-signings. Because everyone else either wants too much money. Or... yeah, well, does Dante Jackson want to come back? He is coming back, so for 1 year, $33 million in free agency money. Let's go find ourselves a center. All right, well, not a lot of great centers in this free agent class. So we're going to go with John Michael Schmitz here and see if maybe that can help. We should be able to get him. I would go with Elton Jenkins, but it's, again, I mean, once guys get past that age of 30, I just don't know when they're going to retire, and I'd rather not deal with that. At all, really. So we come back here, looking around. Could use an extra defensive tackle, of course. Always could, always can, but, you know, don't want to pay too much for him. And I think we're going to go with... actually, I think we're going to fine with what we got right there. I don't think we're going to bring one in. Corner. I mean, we could bring in another corner. Carrington Valentine, we could bring him in. He's relatively cheap, still young, and just kind of can develop for us really on a cheap deal. So I think really that's all we're going to do in free agency is just John Michael Schmitz and Carrington Valentine. I think we're going to do that. Carrington Valentine, dude. And that's going to do it for free agency for us. So 2 players, Valentine and Schmitz. Let's go see what we can do in the draft. All right, so we are here in the draft 2027. I'm interested to see who the first pick is, and it is going to be Colin Simmons, top edge prospect. So let's see who we are going to take here. Pick number 32. And I'm not really sure what I want to do with this pick. There's a lot of options. We could go receiver if we wanted to. I don't think we will go receiver, if I'm being honest. I think we should go safety, right? Our safeties are getting a little up there in age, a little bit older. Koi Parrish can develop, sit, wait, learn, and yeah. So I think that's what we're going to go with. Koi Parrish here, free safety. Originally out of Minnesota, did transfer to Oregon. Great athlete. And that's what we're going to go with right there. So we're going to come back again here. Second round. And the Packers picking in front of us. They take Anthony Smith, defensive tackle. I believe we took him in the last rebuild we did. So we're still looking around here. What else do we want to do? There's probably some good corners in this draft we could take if we wanted to. And really any of them would be good. But I think DJ McKinney here, what's he looking like? He looks pretty good, actually. So I think DJ McKinney also really good size, 6'2", 180 pounds, out of Notre Dame. That's who we're going to go with. DJ McKinney, ranked number 57 in true value, got him at 64. So kind of building in that cornerback depth even more, just kind of building it up. And yeah, I'm a fan of that. I looked at this draft class. There did not appear to be any like good centers in this class, like whatsoever. So it's kind of like whatever, you know what I mean? There's no one there that I thought looked very good. tried finding him, just did not find the talent there. Again, this class just seems to be filled with a ton of cornerbacks. So I guess if you need a cornerback, wait till the 2027 draft. Not really sure what to do here. I guess we'll just... Oh, this guy does not look very good. Yeah, I'm just kind of not sure what to do here right now. I mean, we could see if there's like a decent enough guard around. Maybe convert them to center if we have to in the future if John Michael Schmitz decides to retire. But Wendell Moat Jr., you know what, we do have a little bit older guard. Mekhi Becton is a little bit older, so might as well take a shot. He doesn't look particularly good, but we'll see. I'm gonna let the CPU handle the rest of the draft, and I'll see you for the draft recap. So here is the draft recap. Koi Parrish is a 76 overall, does have hidden dev. Play rec needs work, man coverage needs work, but I think eventually he will be a starter for us. Maybe if, who knows, if we go back to back, then we're probably not going to get not get a third season in. But J.J. McKinney, he also looks pretty decent as well. His man coverage and zone coverage are both pretty good for a rookie. Play rec 64, that's going to need some work, but good speed. Jumping looks pretty good. Catching needs work. Wendell Moat Jr. doesn't look that bad, actually, at a 69 overall. All of his blocking ratings are mostly fine, except finesse stuff that we're going to have to work on with him. But apart from that, he looks pretty decent, actually. So, I don't know. Could be a starter for us eventually. So, I do like that. We also took a running back, Justice Hayes, Tony Rojas, and Toby. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that, but he's a 66 overall. So I'll see you once I'm done with training camp. So we have a bunch of upgrades here to do. We're gonna go with Koi Parrish, the first guy we're gonna do a bunch of upgrades for, and we're gonna focus just on zone for him, mostly because his coverage skills definitely need to still get a little bit better. So that's what we're gonna focus on right now. And play rec also super important, so he should definitely be up into like the mid 80s by the time we're done with all of these upgrades for him. And yeah, I mean, pretty good pick, I think, honestly, for the value where we were. And I think it does give us some flexibility for what we want to do with some of the other players we have on this roster. But yeah, pretty good stuff right there. He's gonna be an 84 overall going into his rookie season, so you do like to see that. Star dev as well. And then that guard we took, I believe his issue was more of the finesse move thing, so we're gonna try to focus on that for him. And I wish I could just hold down the button on the little thing I want, and it just like puts all the upgrade points into it instead of me having to individually hit it each time. That is a little annoying, but he is going to go up. He's going to have some pretty good upgrades right here. He is definitely going to at least be in the mid 70s when we're finished with all of these upgrades, but I definitely want to get his finesse moves, not finesse moves, his finesse blocking a little bit better than where it's at right now currently. You'll make him a little more well-rounded. And he's going to be a 71 overall here. So pretty good set of upgrades right there. Pretty good pick, honestly, all things considered. So I think we definitely hit on that pick as well. Omar Cooper Jr., we focused on him this training camp, and he's going to get a decent amount of upgrades here with 7. So he should potentially, I think, crack into more of the starting lineup a little bit for us. Over Quentin Johnston. He should definitely be a higher overall than him, so we'll definitely probably see the field a little bit more than what he did his rookie year, which was kind of always the plan. Kind of just spend 2 years at very least 2 off seasons developing him, and then he'll be ready to play his, his second year. So that's kind of what we did with him. He's gonna be an 84 overall, so that was also a pretty good pick for us, honestly. So happy with that. Normal dev, so gonna work on trying to get that dev trait up. Then Zane Durant, who we're gonna focus on some power rusher for him. We're gonna focus on a little bit of everything for him. But Lots of power rusher. He's up to an 80 overall, so I have been able to finally develop one of these guys. One of these created draft class defensive tackles. Feel like, again, it's kind of been tough doing that here. And then we'll focus on speed rusher a little bit here with these last 2 upgrade points for him. And he's going to get up to an 83 overall going into his second season. He played very well his first year. So that is very nice. And then the rest of these guys, we are just going to let the game kind of do all the upgrades for them. And I will see you for the start of year number 2. All right, year number 2 here. We are defending Super Bowl champions. Let's go take a look at the lineup here. Probably have to do a quick generate lineup real quick. And there it is. There's the team. Jordan Tyson, superstar dev. Mark Hooper is probably our 3rd best receiver on the team. Still got Ladd McConkey here. Offensive line looks pretty good. They keep switching Slater and Alt, but just whatever. I don't really care at this point. And defensively, we still look pretty good, honestly. Defensive tackle room is very good. Zane Durant is kind of taken over as the top dog of this defensive tackle room. Cornerback room, you know, still not, we don't have like a super great corner, one like great awesome corner, but I think we have a bunch of like really solid ones. And yeah, so defense looks good, offense looks good. I expect this team to make the playoffs, even though they kind of didn't almost last season, but I will see you for the playoffs when we make them, because I think we will. If not, I'll be sad. All right, so we did make the playoffs, 10-7, and all of the AFC West actually made the playoffs, so that is kind of insane. But Justin Herbert, 39 touchdowns to 8 interceptions, and then Marion Hampton, 8 rushing touchdowns on the season, 1,100 yards. And then Ladd McConkey with 13 touchdowns. Jordan Tyson, a little bit of a fall off, 4 touchdowns. Omar Cooper Jr. with 10. And then Aron Gadsden with 7. Hampton with 4. Hayes with 1. So pretty good stuff there. Again, I would still like to see that passed around a little bit more, because that's just how it would be in real life. And then defensively, 9.5 sacks for Zane Durant. Thule with 9. Jalen Phillips with 7. 7 for JFM, and then 4.5 for Henley. Tony Rojas, a rookie that we must have drafted, got 4. N'Kobe Dean with 2. So a lot of pressure from a lot of different guys here, and then a ton of interceptions from different guys as well. But Tarib still with 2 led the way for all Chargers players. So taking on the Patriots here. Let's go see if we can beat Drake May and the Patriots. So, wild card weekend here, super wild card weekend, I guess is what it's called. I don't know if they still call it that, but we're up 10-0 here, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7. I just keep repeating myself at this point. 17-7, we finally get a touchdown, and they're going to get a field goal on the board, but we could not come up with points on that drive. We're going to win this game, 17-10. So we advance on after defeating the Patriots here in the wild card, sending the Patriots home. So that is very good here. Herbert with back-to-back playoff runs with at least a win. Did go to the Super Bowl last year, obviously. But Herbert in this one, again, wasn't the prettiest game, but still 2 passing touchdowns on the day. No rushing touchdowns at all. McConkey and Hampton both with receiving touchdowns. Tyson led the way in terms of receptions. Conkey led the way in terms of yardage. And then defensively, Jalen Phillips must just be a playoff performer, because he showed up here. 3 sacks in this one. No turnovers. But either way, we advance on to the divisional round of the AFC playoffs. So, going to be taking on the Tennessee Titans here on the road. They're 13-4, but we have a way better overall than them, so I feel confident that this team should perform and beat them, but again, you never know with the sim engine. So here we are in the playoffs here, Titan Stadium. We're very familiar with that on this channel, and we do get a touchdown to open things up here versus Cam Ward and these Tennessee Titans. They just recently did a rebrand. I think it looks very nice. But we are right now kind of dominating them right now, but they're going to get on the board, still hang around in this game. Can we at least get a field goal out of that drive? We cannot. A little bit of back and forth here. They get it to 10-17. 17-10 still. I'm not sure why. We're driving down the field and then we're not scoring. But we end up getting the win either way. 17-10. On to the AFC Championship game we go as we defeat the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward here. Maybe a year too soon for them to try to do anything in the playoffs that's significant. But either way, we get a win here. Cam Ward looks like he had a rough game. 2 touchdowns and interception for Herbert. Still just not great rushing performances. I don't know what that is with the sim engine, but Ladd McConkey with 115 yards, and then Omar Cooper Jr. with 2 receiving touchdowns in this one. So like I said, he was going to come on strong this year, and he certainly has. Jordan Tyson still playing great as well. So actually I want to take a look at the defensive stats real quick. Kind of see what our guys were able to do defensively, and only 1 sack for Tuli Tuipulotu and no interceptions. So kind of just a suffocating day for our defense. We just kind of suffocated them and got the win. So let's go see who we're going to be playing in the AFC Championship game. AFC Championship game, taking on the Broncos here. We are better than them, but they're pretty good too. I mean, we did just rebuild them and only did 2 years because we won back-to-back Super Bowls. So certainly a tough team. AFC West matchup here, showdown in the championship game. Let's go see if we can beat the Broncos. All right, so I think there's some weather. No, there's not actually any weather. But yeah, we are going to go up 3-0 here in this game. A little bit of a defensive matchup here between these two teams. And they're going to strike first with a touchdown here. And we do retake the lead here. They're driving. They're going to retake the lead here. Big end-of-game drive. Do we jump in? I feel like the answer is no. We're going to see can the CPU do it. And we're not going to go back-to-back here. We're going to lose to the Broncos 21-10 here. So, gonna have to reload for year number 3 of this rebuild if we want to try to get Justin Herbert another Super Bowl trophy, another Super Bowl ring for this Chargers franchise. Looks like the offense just never really did anything today. Yeah, 3 interceptions by Herbert in this one, 26-40, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Rushing attack really didn't do anything. I don't know what to say about that. It just seems like the rushing game just doesn't do anything in the simulation. The weapons are good enough too, so I'm not really sure what to do about that. 2 sacks on the day and an interception for Derwin James. Just not enough to beat the Broncos here. Had opportunities to punch it in and score, just couldn't do it. So we're going to have to reload for year number 3. So Dante Jackson and Josh Harris both call it a career. So that does take a little bit of money off of our cap, but you know, still disappointed in that performance that we had. Would have liked to have seen us play a little bit better, but hey, the Broncos ended up losing the Super Bowl to the New York Football Giants. So things we like to see. So in terms of re-signings, Benjamin St. Juste we're probably not going to re-sign, and really this comes down to, do I want to re-sign Ladd McConkey for such an expensive deal, or do we want to go with Quentin Johnston, which would be a lot cheaper, right? I think that's a legitimate question that kind of comes up here. I don't remember signing Marcus Williams, but I don't know. I don't. Let's see if this is enough to keep Ladd McConkey around. He's not. He's not interested. So, yeah, that puts us in a little bit of a bind. Elijah Molden not going to be back with us. Neither is Junior Colson. Actually, Junior Colson we actually don't need to bring back. We have enough depth at linebacker. This guy's like, I'm not coming back for anything. How about some money? He's going to come back. So we keep our 3rd defensive tackle right there. And we look through the rest of these guys. Again, not going to bring any of these guys back. So really the question does come down to, do we just re-sign Quentin Johnston, we let Ladd McConkey walk, and kind of just call it right there for at least free agency? Yeah, I think we're just going to let him walk, honestly. Quentin Johnston, we are going to bring back because he's relatively cheap to bring back, honestly. And he's developed pretty well for us. He's a solid player. McConkey, as good as he is, isn't like super elite or anything like that, at least not in Madden. So not something we need to do. And John Franklin Myers, we are going to bring back again for just another year. And that's going to do it for really re-signings. I don't think there's anyone else that we need to necessarily re-sign. So on to the draft, because we're not going to have money for free agency, and I'm not prepared to start moving money around just yet. So we're going to trade Mekhi Becton to the Saints for Quincy Riley and, I don't know, how about a 5 and a 5th round draft pick. So we have a guard that is ready to go right here in Wendell Moe Jr., so we can just kind of slot him into the starting spot right there. Get a spare corner because we did kind of need one. We're still good at corner, but, you know, again, no one like super elite, but Tariq still is pretty good, so I would like to try to find at least one other additional corner for this team, but it might be hard to do. All right, so let's get into the draft here. Pause it. Of course, gonna have to do that. And the Dolphins go with Notre Dame CJ Carr at quarterback. So we are picking pick number 29 here. So I'll be interested if there's anything on the board that I am particularly a fan of. And it is going to be Marcellus Williams, a cornerback out of USC. Want to get another corner in here. Pretty good speed, honestly. So I'm going to draft a corner here and draft from about right where he should be. Normal dev, so that is a little disappointing. But apart from that, I think it is a decent pick here. Get another corner in here. Some of our corners are starting to age just slightly. So we're going to make another pick here. And I'm not really sure what to go with here. I think we might go with a strong safety. None of the edge rushers look particularly good. I think like all the good like defensive tackles again were like taken like right away. The rest is just a bunch of day 3 guys. So this is the last real draft class we have to use here. I would not expect anyone to be making like 2029 draft classes. Like those guys are still wet in the bed probably. So we're gonna take Bryce Fitzgerald here. Strong safety and pretty good pick, ranked number 12 in true value. We got him at 61 in the draft, so I think that's a pretty good pick. Really good speed, acceleration, all that stuff is pretty good right there. Derwin James is getting up there in age, so what we've done in really the past 2 drafts is really strengthen up the secondary. So that is pretty good, honestly. So I think we are going to take, I thought about taking one of these receivers, but we don't really need one. I do think we take an edge rusher here, and I think it's going to be Bryce Young. Elite jumping, poor strength, but he is more of a speed rusher type. So we'll take Bryce Young here. Pick number, he is 165 in true value, drafted him at 93. And then I am just going to let the CPU do the rest of this draft because I just can't be bothered at this point, because it feels like a lot of positions just don't have a lot of depth to them. I feel like they all just end up being day 3 guys. And so it's just kind of a little weird right there drafting them, and it's just all of them look awful. So I don't know what to say about that, but here is the draft recap. So Marcellus Williams 74 overall, Bryce Fitzgerald a 77 overall, then 69. Trevor Burr is a 69 as well. Siale Ursary, I hope that's how you pronounce that, 67. And the rest of these guys are just kind of like, who cares? But that's just kind of what it is. Let's see what the Chiefs did, actually. And again, kind of really something similar where it's just, I feel like once you get kind of late once you get past like the second round of a lot of these draft classes, it's kind of not that good. So I don't know, maybe next rebuild I'll just use the 2026 draft class, and then we'll just go from there with the generated ones. Year number 3 of the rebuild. This is the team here, and it is mostly the same. We do have a new starting right guard here. It's Wendell Moe Jr., his second year. He is a 75 overall. We did draft him last year, kind of expecting him to eventually take over that right guard spot. He has no more Ladd McConkey. He did not want to re-sign with us, or really, he was a little too pricey. So it's Omar Cooper Jr., Jordan Tyson here, who is a superstar, 98 overall. So he has developed very nicely for us. Justin Herbert is superstar X Factor finally. Is he starting to regress at all? Are we seeing any regression just yet? I don't think we are. So no, not yet. He is 30 now, so maybe we will start to see just a tiny little bit of regression, maybe not too much. Still decent at tight end. Offensive line is good, like I said. And then we come back here, defense. Here it is right here. We still have Derwin James over here, but then we look at this. We have Coy Parrish right here. He is going to start for us, and 87 overall. So he has developed quite nicely as well. Corner room is, you know, decent, not great. We have one like really good corner, and then everything else is kind of whatever. Defensive line room is still really good. Linebackers are good. Edge is good. Yeah, so hopefully we should make the playoffs. Hopefully we don't end the season in a disappointing fashion like we did last year, but you never know. So I'll see you for the midseason mark, or the midseason point. I think that we're the halfway point in the season. I'll see you there. All right, we're at the midseason point here of year number 3. We are currently 6-0. Let's go take a look here at the stats. Justin Herbert, 21 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, almost 2,000 yards. And Marion Hampton having an okay season, actually almost to halfway to the 1,000-yard mark, 3 touchdowns. And then Quentin Johnston kind of leading the way here a little bit, and Omar Cooper playing very nicely as well. Rondé Gatson playing decently as well. So offense is clicking. And then we come take a look here at the sack numbers, and Tuli Pelotu, 8.5 sacks, Jalen Phillips with 5, Zane Durant 3.5, Bryce Young, not that Bryce Young, 2 sacks on the season, and everyone else either has 1 or a half who does have 1. And then Derwin James still playing very well. Thought about trading him, but decided not to do that. But then Bryce Fitzgerald, a rookie, getting a interception as well. So that's kind of who is eventually going to replace Derwin James, is going to be Bryce Fitzgerald. Just not this season. I think we'll keep Derwin around. Still good enough to play. So there is that. So I will see you for the playoffs. See if we make them. We should make them. We're 6-0, but you never know with the sim engine. We could just fall apart. Okay, so we did make the playoffs at 11-6. So kind of a mid-season collapse almost, honestly. But we did make the playoffs. I mean, we almost didn't make the playoffs, honestly. So yeah, that's not particularly great, but we do have some upgrades here to do before we get in, or before we play this playoff game. And then we'll take a look at the stats as well, of course. But Jordan Tyson going to get another upgrade here. Actually has 2, and still going with Playmaker, and he's finally a scheme fit at 99 overall. So there is that. Finally a scheme fit. Yet if I probably do another upgrade, he'll probably end up not being a scheme fit. It doesn't really matter at this point, but we did finally get him to be a scheme fit. So there is that. And then Bryce Fitzgerald, continuing to develop. I believe he has star dev. I might have saw it on one of the menus I was going through. Who we did draft, but he does have stars, and he is an 86 overall, so he will perfectly, I do think it will be time to trade Derwin James, but you know, why not trade Derwin James when we have an actual replacement for him? I think that's kind of the better thing to do, if you ask me personally. So Wendell Moe Jr. developed pretty nicely here. He is up to a 79 overall, and then Marcellus Williams, who was our first round pick, in this most recent draft. And he is going to be a 76 overall, and he is going to be a scheme fit as well. So, yay! I don't know how much XP extra you get for being a scheme fit, honestly, but these are the rest of the upgrades. And with most of these, we'll go into here, do Zane Durant real quick. We'll go speed rusher on him. Now that he's developed so much, we can try to make him a little more well-rounded. And yeah, but he has developed quite nicely for us. One of the few guys that we have real life defensive tackles we've ever been able to develop. So taking on the Jaguars here, they are 9-8. We are 11-6. We're just going to advance on here. Hopefully we are able to beat the Jags and move on. And we do beat them 31-24. And we get to take on the Broncos again, who ended our playoff run last season in the AFC Championship game, I believe. So we're going to go on here, try to beat the Broncos, try to get some revenge on them, and hopefully we can get back to the AFC Championship game and then try to get back to the Super Bowl. And we have another upgrade here for Zane Durant, so we'll keep going power rusher here for our speed rusher for him for a little bit here. +3 hit power. That doesn't seem like a speed rusher thing, but all right. And then Bryce Young, not that Bryce Young, is developing quite nicely for us as well. 76 overall. So do like to see that. He is a rookie, still very young. And Blowjob Green, the second, it will probably be a 71 overall. So let's go see if we can beat the Broncos. All right, AFC divisional round, taking on the Broncos. We are up 31-10 here. And it has been kind of just us running away with this one. Kind of close to start, and we are just kind of running away with this one. And we do run away with this one, 34-10. We get revenge for last year's loss, and we are moving on to the AFC Championship game. And we'll take a quick look at the stats here from this one. Justin Herbert, 4 touchdowns on the day. Omarion Hampton, 79 rushing yards. And then Omar Cooper Jr., with a really great game, 7 receptions, 114 yards, a touchdown. Jordan Tyson with 3 receptions for 3 touchdowns. So if he was catching the ball today, it was going for 6. And to go here at the sacks, Jalen Phillips with a sack, John Franklin Myers with a sack, the former Bronco, then a half for Henley, a half for Zane Durant, and then an interception here for Julian Neal, and an interception for Henley as well, as we defeat the Broncos in this one. All right, AFC Championship game, taking on the Bills. We are going on the road for this one, probably because we are a wild card team. The Bills probably won the AFC East. They did. So, road playoff game at Old Highmark Stadium against Josh Allen and the Bills. So, let's see if we can win this one. All right, fourth quarter AFC Championship game. It's a blizzard. I can't see anything. We are taking on the Bills, and 31-14, that feels like a pretty good lead here. They're going to go for an onside kick. Doesn't matter. We beat the Bills in the blizzard, 31-21. We come all the way from LA and beat the Bills in Buffalo while it's snowing a ton. We're going back to the Super Bowl. Let's go see who we're going to be playing. And Justin Herbert played great in this one. 25-31, 3 touchdowns. Omarion Hampton with a rushing touchdown. I feel like every time we've done a play the moments and we've come in and looked at it, he's never had like a really great game. I don't know what that is, but Jordan Tyson, 6 receptions, a touchdown. Quentin Johnston, 6 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Gatson, a lot of O and Q guys on our team. O, Q, and J's. I just kind of realized that, but pretty nice stuff there. And then a sack for Henley, a sack for Jalen Phillips, and a sack for Zane Durant. No interceptions, but either way, we got after Allen, made it difficult for him, and yeah, we're moving on to the Super Bowl. So we got some upgrades to do here before we get into this Super Bowl. Tareeb still going to get an upgrade here. I did not mean to hit slot, actually. I meant to go with man-to-man, but we get a man coverage upgrade and +2 press, so it's not too bad. He's developed pretty nicely in this rebuild. DJ McKinney, we're going to get him some zone coverage upgrades here, and he is going to get +2 play rec, almost said prestige, and +2 zone coverage and +1 man coverage as well. 78 overall. Developed pretty nicely. Got to get that play rec up. That's kind of what we have to focus on with him. Trevor Burr, gonna get an upgrade right here. Left guard that we have. We actually have some pretty decent depth at guard. He's developed quite nicely. And then Eric, I don't know, is it just pronounced Eric? Like there should, like it's a C? I don't know. Either way, he gets some upgrades right there. We're playing the New York Football Giants. That's right. It's another Harbaugh Bowl, I believe. I don't think they've... Well, actually, no. I believe this might be still Brian Dable. I don't think... Yeah, no, it's still Brian Dable. The other Harbaugh is still with the Ravens. So let's go see if we can beat the Giants in the Super Bowl. All right, we are in the Super Bowl here, and we are up 28-0 here. The Giants finally get on the board. And, yeah, 31-7 here. Interception by Derwin James. That might be his last big play with this team, and it's sealing a Super Bowl win for the Chargers. After winning one, we failed to make it back. This time we make it back, and we win yet another Super Bowl here. I'm trying to think, the other Super Bowl, did we play the Giants? I don't remember, but either way, this sets up for us to finally go back-to-back again in the final year of this rebuild. And Justin Herbert, 17-22, 265 yards, 4 touchdowns on the day. Absolutely carved up this team. No rushing touchdowns, but a lot of different guys did run the football. And then Quentin Johnston, what a career turnaround for him in this rebuild. Actually, in real life, he actually has kind of turned around. He's actually turned into like a decent NFL player. He does look like he's actually going to have an NFL career. At some point, it looked like this guy just wasn't going to be in the league anymore at all once his... Like, this guy's going to get cut and not have a career, but in real life, he does like he's at very least going to he's turned into a serviceable player. Jordan Tyson, a touchdown. Omar Cooper Jr., 2 touchdowns. Gadsden with a touchdown as well. And then defensively, 2 sacks for Zane Durant and 2 for John Franklin Myers. So, very nice stuff there. Then Derwin James, an interception. Tareeb Still, an interceptions. And Dion Henley with an interception as well. So, let's go see who we have to re-sign and what we can do to try to maximize this team to get one more Super Bowl here, to get 3 in this rebuild. Hey, what did I say? Jordan Tyson was going to get another upgrade, and it'll make him not a scheme fit. I feel like if you have almost all 99 everything, you should just straight up be a scheme fit. But he goes up to Superstar X Factor finally, so that's very nice. I feel like that took a little too long for me to get to Superstar X Factor, but he does finally go up to Superstar X Factor. And let's advance the week here, and we'll go take a look at retirements. And I want to take a look at the recap real quick, because I feel like we already beat the Giants in the Super Bowl, or that might just been another rebuild I did, because the Giants kind of turned into like world beaters in these rebuilds. But we beat the Giants, and then the Giants went to the Super Bowl and beat the Broncos. And no, we beat the Packers. We did not beat the Giants. We beat the Packers. But Justin Herbert, 2 Super Bowl MVPs so far here in his career. Let's take a look at these retirements real quick. See if there's anyone. I could just do it for AFC West, but no one retires. So that's a little interesting right here. Got some upgrades to do. Probably just practice squad guys. Don't it's anything too serious. We do have DJ Lagway as a... I didn't even realize this. Is this... Baylor, DJ Lagway. This is quarterback DJ Lagway. What if we change him back to a quarterback? Let's change him back to a quarterback. Save changes. Now I'm fascinated to see what happens with the upgrades. And now DJ Lagway, he's a 66 overall quarterback. He might be our backup, honestly. Lagway, there was a lot of hype on Lagway coming into this most recent college football season, and he just did not look very good at times. The little bit of college football I did watch, I was very disappointed in DJ Lagway, but also the guy's very young too. I just always feel like people forget that with these college kids, is that they are kids. They are not children, but they're very young. And, you know, it's not too shocking that they're not finished products at 20 years old. I feel like people should definitely respect that a little bit more. But no big retirements for us. We are in a little bit of a cap crunch. little bit of a cap crunch, little, not fully, but we're there a little bit. So what we're gonna do is, I feel like, to try to eke out another Super Bowl. I don't know if we can still do this. We can't restructure that Justin Herbert deal. Rashawn Slater is coming up, so we can restructure the Joe Alt deal. That'll free up some money. Tareeb Still, we can restructure that, free up a couple $1 million there. See, I feel like in real life, what would happen is Herbert would sign an extension, which would allow us to restructure his current deal again, right? He would probably add like another 2-3 years. We would restructure this year, and that money would get pushed off into like the extension years. But we can't do that right now because he's not up for an extension. You should be able to offer contract extensions whenever. I'm not sure why you're only limited to do that when, you know, when you know what I mean. I'm not sure why you're only allowed to do that at certain points and not others, because in real life we would probably give him an extension and then, you know, probably, you know what I'm saying. You get the gist of what I'm saying. So Nakobe Dean, I do want to bring back as our linebacker if he's interested. If he's not, and he is interested in coming back, so that might be really the only re-signing we're doing. I know that might sound weird. It's like John Franklin Myers still there. We're probably gonna draft some. Well, I'm not paying a kicker that much money. How much is that? That's just not gonna happen. But you know what? Screw it. Last year, we'll do it. We'll re-sign him, and Gatson probably isn't gonna get re-signed. We might re-sign him in the free agency period, but we might actually have to make a trade to do that. But yeah, so let's go see what we can do here in free agency and the trade market. So we're going to try to trade Derwin James here for Walter Nolan. We're going to give up a 3rd round pick as well to see if we can get an additional defensive tackle. They say no, so they don't want to do that. That's fine. I do want to see if I can find another defensive tackle that we can get on this roster, just so we have an additional one right there, because we did let 2 of them walk. What about Kenneth Grant? Can we make that happen? Can we get Kenneth Grant? And they do. Okay, so they take Derwin James and a 3rd, and we get Kenneth Grant. We bring in Kenneth Grant, so that does add a little bit to our defensive tackle room. We're also going to make another trade here, and this has kind of been in the background, I guess. I strangely haven't talked about this because I just haven't had time, but Athan Kamanis is an 85 overall. We have developed him basically in the background the entire time of this rebuild, and we are going to see if we can finally cash in here and kind of see what we can get for him. I feel like now is the time for us to cash in on that backup value that we have right there. And we're gonna look around here. There's a lot of teams that are willing to, you know, they're looking to trade for him. A lot of teams want a quarterback. Now granted, if I'm being honest, most of these teams already have quarterbacks, I feel like. So it's a little interesting. We're looking to look around here, see what we could find. I mean, George Pickens would be super fun, kind of just a F it, we're going for it type of move, but I just don't think that's what we're going to do. So I want to see if I can find something really tasty here. You know, do we want to bring in yet another cornerback? I feel like our corner room is very good. We're good at other positions. Again, I'm not sure why some of these teams would do this trade. But Wendell Gregory could bring in an edge player here. I'm interested to see what his contract looks like. He's only played 1 year, so he's a rookie. We could bring in yet another edge player. I like the idea of doing this just because, you know, I like building this thing in a way that seems realistic. We have some older edge players on this team that are starting to age a little bit and maybe even starting to regress. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, we're going to have that next generation of edge players ready to go. Jalen Phillips only has a year left on his deal. Tuli Tuipulotu only has a year left on his deal. So I think this team, the Chargers, would view this as kind of a forward-thinking move. We have an extension with Justin Herbert to think about. He's probably going to get extended again after we're done with this year. But also we get a first-round pick in this year's draft, or in next year's draft. We get a third and 29. So yeah, honestly, we're going to do this deal. We're going to do this trade. We get an additional edge player, and the Seahawks get a quarterback. So not too bad right there. And we're actually going to go back, do yet another trade here. And I think what we're actually going to do is we actually are going to trade one of these edge guys. And I think it's going to be Jalen Phillips is going to get traded here. We're going to look around here, see what we can find in the trade market, and I would prefer not to trade him in the AFC, but I can't really find any trade I like here, and so I guess Phillips is going to stick around, but made some moves right there. Now we can go look at free agency. And again, lots of fun players here. Bo Nix is a free agent. You don't really see guys like him get the free agency all that often. Jalen Hurts is a free agent. I feel like I've never seen him in free agency. So defensive tackle, I think, is going to be the move for us. Can we go out here, find another defensive tackle, and Ed Oliver. We're going to offer him just enough money here. This is a little risky, but we're going to evaluate that offer. Do we get him? And we do get Ed Oliver. So that's going to do it for free agency. If we're being honest, the Jets loading up over there too, you see. But take a look here at this lineup real quick. And again, offensive line, very good. We'll find a tight end in the draft potentially. But we'll go take a look here at this defense. And we'll generate the lineup here. And we have gone from an okay defensive tackle room to a very good defensive tackle room here with Zane Durant, Ed Oliver, and Kenneth Grant. So very good stuff right there. Defensive tackle room looks good. Linebacker room looks good. We have edge depth. We have our strong safety. Bryce Fitzgerald is a superstar dev. So you love to see that. So this team, really, we don't have to do much in free agency. If we need a tight end, we do. I'll find one via the draft. So let's get on to the draft here. So I mentioned needing tight end, and we took a look around here. We did scout a lot of the tight ends, or the 3 top tight ends we did scout. And the best one looks to be Jamie Crompton out of Stanford. A catching traffic, A catching, A deep route. Not a great run blocker. Great speed for a tight end, elite change of direction. Everything looks pretty good here. So if Jamie Crompton is there at pick 32, that will be the pick. Let's get into this draft here. Final draft of the rebuild and the first generated draft of this rebuild. So let's see. Hopefully that tight end is not off the board. I'll be a little disappointed, but we do have an ability to probably trade for a tight end if we're that desperate. I don't see him taken just yet. So I think we are in business. Jamie Crompton still here. We are going to draft him. And there we go. We get a replacement tight end for Gadsden. And he does have hidden dev. So there is that as well. So pretty decent draft pick right there for us. And let's go to our next user pick here for the final draft of this rebuild. And we're going to make our selection right here. And what do I do when I never know what to do on these rebuilds? You already know. We go take a look here at defensive tackle and see what's around for us to take. And there's a straight up just round 1 true talent defensive tackle here. And not as crazy of a defensive tackle class than what I'm used to seeing with these Madden generated ones. But Romeo Macklin looks pretty good. Block shedding, finesse moves. His power moves are C, A play rec. Yeah, everything looks pretty good here with Romeo Macklin, and we're going to take him. Again, some of those defensive tackles are older and only have 1 year left, and this one is a top 10 was ranked 10th in true value. So we're setting up this team to be very good for a very long time, even when we are done with this rebuild. So I'm going to come back again, another user pick here. And this one is in the middle of the third. I forgot where we got this one from. So we look around here and just see what we want to do. And round 2 to 3 here for that defensive tackle. And I suppose we could take a look at corner. Always need corners. And none of them look good. I feel like last Madden there was always good corners. Now like they're all kind of not good at all. And all the good players are defensive tackles. So we'll take the round 2 to 3 defensive tackle here. Lionel Westerman, B block shedding, B finesse moves, B power moves, A tackle. Looks like a pretty great athlete as well for his size. We'll take him. Rank 54 in true value. Got him at 85. Normal dev on him. So there is that. We will let the CPU handle the rest of the draft here. And we'll see what the draft recap holds. So draft recap, Jamie Crompton is a 75 overall. Let's take a look here. Route running needs a lot of work. Not a great blocking tight end. Seems more of your receiver type at 248 pounds, but probably a good pick. And then Romeo Macklin, 77 overall. Looks really good. Finesse moves and needs work, but his block shedding and play rec are all very good. Tackle, 78, needs a little bit of work too, but apart from that, looks really good. And then Lionel Westerman also looks pretty decent as well. Yeah, so again, this team will have defensive tackle depth for a very long time, and everyone else is just kind of whatever, honestly. So I'll see you once I'm done with the training camp drills, and we'll be on to the final year of this rebuild. Hey, DJ Lagway gets a dev trade upgrade. I don't know what that does for us at this point in the rebuild, but hey, it is cool, I guess. Hey, and Jamie Crompton gets a dev trade upgrade up to superstar. He also gets 2 skill points, so some meaningful upgrades happening here in training camp. Like always, definitely take your time and do these drills if you play franchise. It's definitely worth it, and it doesn't even really take that long if you know what you're doing. So, yay. Another dev trade upgrade, this time for Marcellus Williams, our cornerback that we drafted, I think 2 seasons ago. He gets a dev trade upgrade up to star and a skill point, so pretty good training camp so far. Really good, actually. I've never gotten 3 dev trade upgrades in one training camp before, so pretty good. All right, we have a ton of upgrades to do here. Jamie Crompton with 10 of them. So we're going to try to focus on making him a scheme fit possession receiver. I believe that works the most on the route running and things like that, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, going to focus on that with him. We'll focus on blocking. I'm just joking about that, actually. I never developed blocking for tight ends. I don't know why. I just don't feel like it's that important, just because, like, I kind of don't have my tight ends in the block that often, personally. It's kind of not something I do. I always send them out in a route because no matter how good their blocking is, I feel like they always just kind of ran through. Not in that way, the other way, where a defensive tackle runs over them. You know, not the way that, like, maybe some of your mothers are. I don't know. That was mean. I'm sorry. Don't worry, your moms aren't ran through yet. But we have one more upgrade after this one for Jamie Crompton, and so we're getting some pretty good upgrades in right here, and he's going to be an 84 overall going into his rookie season, and that's good. Superstar dev, pretty good. Still got to work on that route running, though, particularly deep route running. Got to get that better. And then Marcellus Williams with a ton of upgrades here, and there we go. Finally getting some corner upgrades for him. I feel like all these corners we drafted, none of them have really taken a big step up at all. Granted, I haven't particularly focused on corners with the DB battle drill. I've kind of done more of our safeties because we've had young safeties that I've wanted to develop. So I guess that took priority over some of the corners that we have drafted. But Marcellus Williams is going to have a very nice upgrade path here now moving forward, because he's going to be an 82 overall, and yeah, coming into his second year, 82 overall, probably ready to really take a next step up for us. And here's Romeo Macklin. I didn't even do the defensive tackle drill. Sorry for that. I just didn't feel like doing it at this point. That's the one drill that, now that they made it harder, like way back in the fall, because they want people to, I don't know, have like a sense of accomplishment for when they do these training camp drills. These are supposed to be just fun little drills. And of course, EA is like, people are getting gold on this one too much. Let's make it more difficult or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying it should be completely easy. There should be, especially if you're using like a bad player, but I've used good players on that drill, and it's like just kind of annoying. It takes like an extra 3 or 4 tries, and it's just like, nobody wants to do that, man. I'm sure there's someone out there who does, who enjoys that. And if you are that person, hey, more power to you. I'm not that guy. If you like doing that, cool. But I feel like these should be mostly just kind of fun and laid back, and they're not. So appreciate that, EA. So more upgrades here for DJ Lagway. He was playing at receiver, and we've decided to move him back to quarterback and say, hey, you know what? We developed Anthem Calicamenus, able to trade him for a pick. Maybe we could do the same with you. DJ Lagway is a guy who has all of the physical tools. I mean, don't so many of these guys do. They have the physical tools before they're able to really, I think, master the position. And I think some teams get a little too... They rely on those physical tools of these young quarterbacks a little too much, and I think that actually has a detriment to them when it comes time to develop like winning players. And I think that's could be what happened with Lagway. The quarterback stuff has to come, but the actual physicals of DJ Lagway are super impressive. Yeah, so gonna do all those upgrades. There we go. I will see you for the start of year number 4, the final year of this rebuild. So here's the team for the final year of this rebuild. Again, Herbert, Tyson, Omar Cooper Jr. We actually signed Ty Felton. He was a cheap free agent. Quentin Johnston still here. Jamie Crompton. Offensive line looks pretty good here. Defense, I think, is very good, actually. Defensive line room, I think, is the best we've had for the entire rebuild, honestly. Corner room might be the best we've had of the entire rebuild as well, with Williams finally developing a little bit here, or Marcellus Williams getting those upgrades that he got in the training camp portion of the season. So he is up there pretty good. And yeah, everything looks really good right here. I will see you for the playoffs. So hopefully we make them. We should make them, but you never know with Madden. So let's go. All right, we did make the playoffs. We go 16-1. Absolutely dominating here. And we'll take a quick look at some upgrades. And Jamie Crompton, he has a bunch of them. We're just going to go with a vertical threat here for him, I think. That's kind of more what he is, I guess. And we'll go with that instead. I don't know. I've never done vertical threat really for tight ends. I've always done possession. I don't know how much different that is for what they do. I don't really seem to be noticing a difference. I feel like these archetypes don't make players different enough, but I feel like that's really hard to do even in a game like Madden, where it feels like for the most part everything bleeds over into each other, where I feel like everyone can kind of do a little bit of everything no matter what their ratings are. So it's just kind of something that just how it is with Madden. Marcellus Williams, though, gets 3 more upgrade points here, and so hopefully he had a very good season. And it looks like we're finally really getting this corner room to develop from being just kind of like good to potentially great, potentially. I think that would be, I'm not sure why I said potentially twice right there, but going from like, hey, it's serviceable to good to, hey, this corner room's like maybe a strength of this team. I think that'd be really nice, honestly, to close things out here. But Romeo Macklin, so I'm going to focus on speed rusher on him. I feel like that's a little too low. Granted, I doubt he played much his rookie year. He had 3 other starting quality defensive tackles ahead of him, so I doubt he played much, and the playbook doesn't call for like a 4-3 or anything like that. So take a look. No, only 100 snaps his rookie year, and we will just let the rest of it do that. And we're a 93 overall offense, 90 overall defense, just a 90 overall in general. And Justin, yes, I always forget to say this. For the last year of the rebuild, I always just switch it to Bengals playbook just to see like how crazy our offense can actually get. Justin Herbert, almost 6,000 passing yards, 55 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, putting up video game numbers. And for the first time ever with that Bengals playbook, we actually see a running back play pretty well actually in terms of yardage. So that's a little bit of a different change. I wonder if there was something with the recent update they did that messed with that. I don't know, but Jordan Tyson, almost 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns. Omar Cooper Jr., 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. Quentin Johnston, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jamie Crompton, 789 yards, 10 touchdowns. And then Omarion Hampton with 5 receiving touchdowns. So just a insane year for the offense. And then defensively, Tuli Tuipulotu with 14 sacks, Zane Durant with 13 sacks, Jalen Phillips with 11.5, Ed Oliver with 8, Henley with 5, Troy Rojas with 4, Nakobe Dean with 3, 1 for Marcellus Williams, 1 for Bryce Fitzgerald, 1 for Bryce Fitzgerald, Julian Neal with half, Tarib Still with half, Seau Ursere with half, and then interceptions, 3 for Marcellus Williams. So he led the way with interceptions. And Dion Henley with 2, Nakobe Dean with 2, Bryce Fitzgerald with 2, and Tarib Steele with 1. So nothing for Coy Parrish, who we did bring in, drafted, but he did have 85 tackles, some pass deflections. So I don't know, maybe teams just aren't throwing at him. But a really good year for us offensively, all that stuff, absolutely dominant. Let's go see who we're going to be playing in the playoffs. So, going to take on the Jaguars again. I feel like we've taken them on in every single playoff run that we've had in this rebuild. We're just going to advance on here. Can we beat the Jaguars at the very least here to advance on? And we do beat the Jaguars, and we get to finally meet up with the Kansas City Chiefs. In these rebuilds, the Chiefs have been really, really bad. I don't know why. I wonder if, I don't know, maybe because they weren't good this year, they did something where their playbook doesn't simulate as well. I'm not sure, but they just have not been very good in any of these rebuilds that we've done, except the one I did with them. But yeah, they've just kind of never been very good. And Jamie Crompton up to a 90 overall here. So really nice stuff with that. And let's get into this game. Let's see if we can beat the Chiefs to advance on to another Super Bowl. Okay, AFC Championship game. We are up 35-21 here, and we are looking to close this thing out, and we do. 35-21. We are moving on to yet another Super Bowl here. Final year of this rebuild. You can close out this rebuild by going back to back here. Let's take a look here at the stats. What did Justin Herbert do in this one? And we turned over Mahomes 3 times. But Herbert, 17 of 25, 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception on the day. And actually, Omarion Hampton had a very good game. This is the first time I've ever seen a running back have a good game in the sim in one of these play the moment things where we kind of check in on the game. Jordan Tyson, 6 for 131 and a touchdown. Omar Cooper, 4 for 72 and a touchdown. Quentin Johnston, 2 for 68 and a touchdown. Omarion Hampton with a touchdown. And then defensively, who got the interceptions here? Nakobe Dean with 2 and Tarib Still with 1 as well. And then Jalen Phillips, 2 sacks. Ed Oliver, 2 sacks. Zane Durant, a sack. A half sack for Grant. A half sack for Neal. We got after Mahomes in this one, turned him over 3 times, got him on the ground a bunch more, and we're going back to the Super Bowl. So let's go see who we're playing. All right, Super Bowl here, taking on the Falcons. We look significantly better than them, but you never know what happens when you get into the game. But I feel confident we should close out this rebuild with yet another Super Bowl win. Okay, we are here in the Duper Bowl, taking on the Falcons, 35-23. We are holding on to a lead here. And we're going to come in here for this one. I don't like that Michael Penix Jr. keeps developing into like a superstar quarterback in these rebuilds, I've noticed. I feel like he shouldn't. And there's Coy Parrish with the interception to seal it right here. Can we house it? We can't. We can almost house it right there. But Coy Parrish with the interception. And that should do it. That should be your Super Bowl dagger here for this Chargers team that we put together. I didn't know what else to say right there, but there we go. We get the interception right there. We're not going to keep it alive. We're not going to keep it alive. We win the Super Bowl here. We beat the Falcons 35-23. We complete the repeat back to back. We get 3 Super Bowls in 4 years with this Chargers team. And now this is the better Harbaugh brother of the other Harbaughs, Jim Harbaugh over John. But either way, we get the Super Bowl here. Justin Herbert wins his 3rd Super Bowl. And we'll go take a look here at the stats for this game. Is it still Charles Woodson? They didn't show him this time, but there they are celebrating on stage. Yet another Super Bowl. Let's go take a look real quick here at the stats. So, 2 interceptions there for Michael Penix Jr. Again, 4 touchdowns for Herbert. Great game from him. Again, shows up clutch. Another good game from Omarion Hampton. So we must have reached some sort of ratings threshold where he finally performs. But really nice stuff to see right there. Omar Cooper Jr. with 2 touchdowns. Omarion Hampton with a touchdown. Jamie Crompton with a touchdown. Jordan Tyson, pretty good game despite having no touchdowns. And then defensively, no sacks. Did not get him on the ground, but I guess we must have created enough pressure. So Tareeb Steele and Coy Parrish each with interceptions in this one as we defeat the Falcons to win the Super Bowl here, 35-23. I want to thank you for watching this rebuild. If you've been enjoying them, leave a like below, leave a comment, follow me on the Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on MySpace, follow me on LinkedIn. Follow me on all the social media things that you have going on. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me over there. What's your Snapchat? What's your what's the other one? I forget what the other one is, but follow me on your Messenger app. Follow me everywhere so I can always be a part of your life. Thanks for watching this rebuild, and I'll see you guys the next one. Peace. Which means we are actually down. Actually, I have my little pen right here. I'm not done yet. I'm not finished with you. We can cross off the Chargers here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 more rebuilds to do, and 1 more AFC team to do. So can anyone guess what the AFC team is that we have left to do here for our rebuilds as we make our march towards the draft?